Does that thrill you?
It's captain friendly.
It's captain friendly. It's unbelievable. This is really amazing. This is delightful. Follow me.
Here we go.
Hi there, this is Captain Q. Join us as we travel hither and yon to show you some great deals on some really interesting boats and maybe learn just a little bit with each one.
Captain!
Grand day! I'm just getting up here. Took me a while to get up that last hill.
Jaguar make that?
It does. Somebody stole the little cat off the nose. It's very sad. Did you find the boat we're here to see today?
Not yet, no.
Want me to show you where it is?
I sure do.
Right in front of you. How do you like that? Look at that puppy. Look at this baby. Oh my gosh. We're back on real size boats here. This is really amazing. Narragansett Bay has been the proving ground and the spawning ground for more boat makers and designers than you can shake a stick at. Alden, Ted Hood, Everett Pearson, Johnstones, the list goes on and on and on of all the number of boats that were designed and then built on the shores of Narragansett Bay. They have some pretty lines to it, frankly, for a boat that's really designed for just cruising, and they've maximized the cruisability of the boat. They've also given her a hull that will speed right along, and the early reviews on this boat is back as early as the early 80s when this boat first came out, were very, very positive. Underneath here, in this particular boat we're looking at, she's got a really swell bottom. Full bottom with a long but truncated keel, no centerboard. We've noticed on this boat, for some reason, she has a myriad of speedometer impellers down here, and there's one here and two on the other side.
Why would you need three?
I have no idea. She has a very nice paint job here on her hull, and again, once again, I can't tell if this is gel coat or paint, but it's gorgeous. There's no real nicks or pings in it. It's flawless. A very nice, simple triple boot top here, tan, white, and sort of a golden brown here. It almost looks bronze, actually. Nice teak rub rail capped with a stainless steel covering piece on it. That'll keep this looking bright all the time when you pull into docks with just pilings exposed and so forth. Here's your water intake. We've seen these with a screen on it, and there's some discussion on that as to whether or not you want to have the screen out here or leave this hole open to suck in whatever's going to get caught in there, then clean it out inside the boat, inside the raw water intake filter. This, you could catch a piece of cellophane on there and shut it right down.
Yeah, or seagrass too.
Or seagrass, right. Pearson does a really great job of building a solid boat with no nod to racing rules or racing speed. It's beautiful. It's an 1.5 stainless, Monel stainless, whatever, with a couple brand new zincs on it, ready to go.
That's an interesting notch there that we haven't seen before. Kind of.
Yeah, I'm not quite certain why they did that, except it gives it a nice clean exit for the stuffing box. You see how round that is? And that now, if you took this stuffing box and tried to put it at the end of this, at the end of the keel here, it would sort of stick out, wouldn't it?
Yep.
An old cruising boat would have that keel come up and finish up here. But they've removed all that to give you a place for the propeller, but also to cut down on wetted surface. This is all wetted surface. Anything that's in the water all the time is considered wetted surface, and this is drag. Okay, so to get this through the water, it's going to cause a certain amount of drag and impact your speed. So they've come back here and just given you a great big skeg to help balance the helm. There's a little bit of paint peeling right here, and we've seen a couple other spots. Both Randy and I agree that there's probably maybe one or two coats possibly underneath the coat we see right now. I would launch this boat and go sailing. It's a little clunky looking in a way when you first see it. It doesn't come to that fine point we've seen like on the Block Island 40 or even the Firefly, for example. But there's a reason for this. People spend most of their time in the cockpit of the boat. So when you've got a little tiny cockpit, you're kind of rubbing knees all the time. Sometimes you want a little more room. By bringing the beam further aft, and they're doing that today in many new boats. You see these great big beams on the backside of the boats, and they end up putting two wheels on it. But by bringing this beam aft, you open up the cockpit for a lot of extra room. Do you want to go topside?
Yeah.
Do you have your topside shoes on?
I don't.
We call those topsiders. Yeah, come on, follow me. It's right around here. I got a ladder over here. Randy, welcome aboard.
Oh,
You know, it's really wonderful getting on these boats. This is a really exciting boat for me too. It's really terrific. There is a lot of boat here, and actually with a truncated stern, you really feel like you're on a 45-foot boat or 46-foot boat. Now I'm sitting on a very nice helmsman seat here. You can see this is made out of the finest heat-absorbing stainless steel you could possibly imagine. The height's comfortable. The view over the cabin is nice. What was the big cockpit we first saw? First episode, how big was that one?
it was about 7 feet wide.
Yeah, and what boat was that on?
It was a Cal 28.
Cal 28, right. Now this thing has got to be over 8 feet, you know, just at least 8 feet wide. It's really long and huge. And it does have a bridge deck here, which is nice. What do we have here? Our old favorite?
Little hand bilge pump.
Bilge pump. So the helmsman can do two things. He can multitask. He can steer the boat, and he can pump to get rid of any excess water. Sometimes that bilge water can slide up into the cabinetry and make a mess out of your clothes and your stored foods. So if you're the helmsman, you're sailing along, you've been on watch for an hour or so, you think, oh, I'll just pump a little bit. You pump until suddenly there's no pressure, and you think, okay, I've emptied it, we're good. That's a nice touch. Behind me, there's a set of davits, and we've seen beefier davits, but I'm going to be willing to bet that these are going to take care of any inflatable they might have with this boat. Maybe a 6 or 8 foot inflatable. That'll pick it right up. And they've put nice little winches right here on either side, just sort of hand cranks. And this is kind of a homemade thing, it looks like. And I bet those originally lived on the front of trailers. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a little rustic.
They are rustic. And also right behind us here, we have a ladder that folds up and locks up in place, and you can just untie this line here, she'll drop down in, and you can easily get on the boat and then climb over the stern rail here. And remember, this is a ketch. How many masts do we have with a ketch?
I'm gonna go with 2.
Right, and where is the second match? Is it behind the wheel, or is it in front of the wheel with a catch?
It's in front of the rudder post.
Rudder post, I like that answer. So here it is right here, and here's the step for it. A nice aluminum step. This particular one is pretty clean, no apparent corrosion. You see the wiring lines coming out of here. That will go up to probably VHF antenna, possibly, lighting on the mast, maybe even a cockpit floodlight. So we've got nice plumbing down here with proper hose clamps on it, and it all looks good. Right beside that, here's the expansion tank for your freshwater coolant on the engine. And again, you can just unscrew the cap right here, check it out, see if it's good, and if you have to add any, how easy is that to add. There's a cord down here in the cockpit, and on both sides, and that's been in place because I know if you're sitting in this cockpit, you've got a life harness on, it's going to have a tether, which is just a line coming off it, and you hook into that, okay? And then that'll keep you from falling out of the boat. On the other side here, we have another locker, and I know, because I did a little homework, that these are banks of batteries sitting in it. They look like some big D-size batteries, and I think there's at least 2 of those. Look at the size of this cockpit. Look at it. I'm dancing around in it. Now, the skeptic out there is going to say, yeah, what happens when you put the mast in, right? Because there's going to be a big mast right here. And I'm going to say you're going to run into the boom. So you got to dance carefully. This is a 2-speed winch here.
What happens if the winch handle hits the lifelines? I'm someone who has skinned a lot of knuckle skin on lifelines trying to get a winch handle.
On whose boat would that have been?
I don't know.
Come on.
Someone that had a poor
Anyway, it's a good question. But chances are, first of all, this lifeline is not tight right now. See,
Yep.
If we tighten it up, there's a possibility you might be able to get around it, but a possibility you might not. If you don't, then you just hold on to this with one hand, literally. You can grab that, grab the handle, and do this. But that's a very astute question.
Learned the hard way.
Yes. What do we call these?
We got some tangs, some chain plates.
A tang for chain plate. Now I've noticed the tilt on it. That's going to go up. This is a split backstay for the main mast. Okay, so the backstay is going to come down from the top of the mast and split off 2 ways, one there and one on the other side here. You can open this up, and here is your fuel tank that you can observe. And there's one nice thing about this is that, see, it's all bolted, and these are fresh bolts here. If you wanted to drain it, and clean it out. You can actually take this cover right off and clean it out.
How would you go about cleaning it out? Is it just scrubbing it?
Just scrubbing it, just a brush. Yeah, just in case there's any green stuff growing in there.
Yeah.
There are all sorts of biocides that you can drop in to help keep the fuel clean, and you can also polish it to what they call polishing the fuel. Polishing is just taking all the fuel that's in the tank, running it through a series of filters. So they do this right at a dock sometime. Running it through all the filters and then right back down into the tank. You get nice, fresh, clean fuel in there. It also helps get rid of any moisture, water floating around there. Okay, want to take a look forward?
Yeah, let's go check out the foredeck.
A lot of deck space here to store a dinghy up here if you wanted to. If you were in a seaway and you wanted to put the dinghy up on deck, there'd be a lot of room to put a dinghy inverted right here around the mast. The other thing I like too are the bulwarks running down the waterways on each side. Notice how deep these are, and if the boat's heeled over and you're working up here, look at my foot. Okay, I'm well braced there. There's a very large Rokna anchor. There is a windlass up here. Not as sophisticated as some of we've seen. It's a Seawolf windlass, so it's going to come right. The chain is going to come right up through the teeth in the front of this particular windlass. And there we go. We have everything. This is handy. Look what they've done here. They left a glove up here, right? Why do you want a glove up here?
Preserve your manicure.
Yes. And this looks like a pickup buoy for their anchor, possibly. And that would be just a buoy that they would drop with a line attached to the anchor itself to show you where the anchor is in case it's jammed and you've got to work with it. A double windlass, yes. Okay, and this has got our cat on that too. Why do we have two? I don't quite understand. We only have one roller up forward.
It goes with the 3 speedometers.
Oh, is that the reason? I like that. Now, something else I like here. What else do I like here?
Probably the cleats to the side.
Yes. These are off to the side, so there's less chance of you stubbing your toe under that. You've really got to work to get your toe up here. It's not going to happen. One thing you want to make certain is you always read the tag on the fill pipes here. This says water.
Now that sounds like you're speaking from experience.
One time we were on our honeymoon on the 44-foot ketch we had, and we were down in Cape May. It was getting dark, and a young man on the dock handed us a hose, a fill nozzle, and it's blowing. I put the hose into the tank and started filling. Well, after about 15 minutes or so, even with the wind, I could start smelling gasoline. Oh my God. So I shut it off, and I realized we had just put in, I don't know how many gallons of gasoline into our diesel fuel tank. Not a good mixture. We weren't actually certain of the total fuel tank capacity. We thought it was about 100 gallons maybe. It was something we overlooked in the offering. So the fellow said, "I'm so sorry. Well, let me come back tomorrow, we'll pump it all out." So he came back the next day with 2 55-gallon drums, and he started to pump all the diesel gasoline mixture out of the tank. Pumped, filled up one tank, filled up another. Oh, still a little more to go. Got another tank, filled that one up. Oh, bought another one, filled that one up. He ended up filling, I think it was 4 50-gallon tanks with fuel out of our 100-gallon tank. But then, this is the best part. When he went to refill the fuel and we put fresh diesel in, we put in 400 gallons.
Oh my God.
This was a regular tanker I had bought.
You could just go cruise around the world.
You could go right across the ocean in that boat with 400 gallons in the keel. It was unbelievable. So anyway, always check on that. Make certain it's the right thing you're putting in the right place. One thing up here is interesting is a treatment on the tow rails here. It's like an opaque stain they put on, and
yeah, what do you think of it?
Appearance-wise, it doesn't light my fire, but it works, and it may be terribly practical. If you're living on board the boat and you're spending a lot of time cruising, it's because it's an awful lot of teak to keep varnished and bright. And just look at the grab rails, how long this boat seems. This seems like a really, really big 42-foot boat. It's quite something. And look at all the ventilation. So Randy,
yeah,
let's find a companionway and go below.
Let's do it.
Okay. Where are you?
I'm coming down.
I'm in this really nice 4-peak V-berth. The original reviewers of this boat back in the early 80s said this should probably be the owner's cabin. So look at that, nice dry hanging locker with latches someplace. Where's the other? There it goes. So look at that, really nice, and that's huge. Dresses and blazers, the whole thing. Best of all is there's a nice seat right here. So when you get in here and you want to put your shoes on, you can put your shoes on. Nice drawers throughout. Again, we love drawers that slide open and shut. And look at this, we have access to a through hull fitting down there. Notice the handle is shut off right now. And that is probably a drain for the sink, without tracing it, something along that line.
That's great to have a little sink for this Masters.
Yeah, and this is sort of like what of the boat?
The Ted Hood, I would say.
A Firefly had it for sure. And the only thing this doesn't have that the Firefly had is the extra commode that sat right here.
Oh yeah,
Remember that you like that a lot. And the truth of the matter is,
did I?
I can't quite squeeze in and give you a Captain Q measuring stick, but these are big V's headed behind me. And there's a filler piece that I've taken out just so we can have more room for the two of us to wander around in here. This is fabric that Pearson put in there to help the boat keep from sweating and so on. So,
what do you mean by sweating?
Just a difference in air temperature and water temperature outside can cause condensation to occur on the insides of boats. The overhead's clean as can be. The little trim teak pieces are in great shape. This does not feel like a boat that has been around for 40 years. Follow me.
Here we go.
The galley table is designed to fit around the mast. And the mast is out of the boat right now, obviously. And so they've just set this to the side. This is sort of like sitting on your couch in your mother's living room, right? This is really, this is not IKEA feeling. This is like old time. I'm sitting on a couch and having a good time.
And you've got two of them.
And there's two of them. Yep. And we could fit 3 people each side. So you've got lots of library space here. There's one on this side and on the other side. This is sort of a symmetrical layout in the cabin. And then you've got spaces to stick whatever you need. This is really nice. This is really be comfortable sitting off on a mooring. What do we need right there?
I could use a wood stove right there.
I would put it right there. It's a perfect spot for it. Nice place for the run on the chimney. And everybody can see the flame and fire. It would be really nice. Let's oil him down here. Let's see if we can take a look at the bilge for a second. Oh, this is pretty. Here's the mast step. It's aluminum. And here's the deck tensioner right beside it. This keeps the deck from popping up when the shrouds are tightened up. But underneath here is a really nice deep bilge. So it looks shallow right here, but as you go back in there, it drops down to a nice sump down in there. And we come back here to this midships companionway. And this is really nice. I like this. And this allows the crew another access to come down into the boat without disturbing the owner who might be using the after cabin on here. And we're going to see that in a minute. But I really like this. Also, if you're handing groceries on board, it's a small point. Groceries can come down here, boom, and go right to the galley. Now, speaking of the galley, we're over here. We have big icebox and a refrigeration section. This is gigundous. And 2 sides, and it goes way out to the side of the boat. Look how big that is. That's just, let me get this thing out of the way here. There we go. Now you see how much room is in that? You can't even, it goes way out to here. It has all the normal storage we like, right? And nice black glasses and so forth. The owner's a man of good taste. There's a 3-burner propane gas stove and oven. When the cover's on it, you've got sandwich making board, all you want. A nice oven here, and this has a lock on it. There we go. And I can't believe they've ever used this. It looks like it's brand new. In this corner we have our ubiquitous pot and pan storage. More storage back in here for glasses, cutlery, everything you want. Above me right here, more lockers. Look at these eyelashes. This is a good level place to put things you need to find right there. Very deep sinks, 2 of them. We have a foot pump here for salt water or pressure, I'm not certain. And this looks like a little purified water. I imagine somebody on board here just might like their scotch with really nice purified water. This is a hand bilge pump. Often find these on boats to help pump out any liquid, any water that's been trapped in the icebox. So you pump this a few times, and you know, you've had some ice or something defrosted in the icebox, you're going to collect water in the bottom of it. So just pump this until there's no resistance, and that'll dry that up. I'm going to go in here and have a shower. Okay? So I'm showering right now, and I am, with my hat, I'm about 6'2" in the shower, and I can close this off and keep everything tidy out there. You see that?
Yep.
And I have my own shower head here. I can sing songs.
Look at me.
There's an interesting little bench in here, which is sort of a little mini soaking tub, and I'm not certain, maybe for a child possibly. Hot and cold running water shower. And again, this is a very large room here. And hot and cold running water sink and storage underneath. This is one thing I'd be just careful with. It's a little exposed to any spray, so just got to be careful with that. Regular manual pump here with Electrosan gray water processing unit here. There is a bottomless pit, and you know what I would use that for? Perfect laundry bin right there, big enough to take everybody's laundry for 2 weeks. Could stuff in there. We're back in the. For me, I would call this the owner's cabin. I love this because again, it's very much like the PB. Oh yeah, we're not coming out of this one. I think we've just found the best Captain Q bunk out of 41 boats. Really, this boat's 40 years old? It's just, it boggles the mind.
What are the odds of you getting out of that bunk right now?
I could do this in, oh, you want to see this? Drill, we gotta get up on deck, quick, like a bunny. Okay, I slide over to the side, hop up, and I'm up, out of the hatch, boom. Okay, how do you like that? Did that thrill you?
It's captain friendly.
It's captain friendly. It's unbelievable. And on the other side here, I can find out where we're going. And that's often very handy for a captain to know because a lot of times you've got crew up on deck who decide to steer the boat where they want to. I've got a bench, a little seat that swings out. That's a nice sized nav table. Somebody commented that this little piece here could kind of bump in your way. But I think when you're bent over working on your chart, you're going to have to practically lie down on it to have it get in your way. So that doesn't bother me at all. Under here, this is called a V drive. And what it does, it changes the direction of the drive off the engine. Because if they turned this engine around in here, the shaft would not have enough room to run out of the hull. So what they do, rather than move the engine up into this part of the hull, or up even up where I'm kneeling right here, they put the engine back onto the cockpit, send it up here, run it through this V drive, which changes the direction. It comes in here, and then the shaft goes out down below there. You see that?
Yep.
And this is all water cooled too, and this has all been rebuilt recently. You can see where it's been repainted and so forth, but look at all the fresh fastenings. Love to see this on a boat. There's a lot of little things on a boat that I really love. Here we go. Look at that. Almost full size at home. You can put a lot of stuff in there. Another great day and another new find of a boat. Really special boat today. They came up with a number of great cruising designs. And today we saw a Pearson 424, a boat that I've admired and I've always wanted to actually touch and see someday. And I wondered if it looked as good as it appeared to be on paper. She's a lovely boat. And she's really well thought out. One of the things you see about her first when you come up to the boat is it really seems a lot bigger than that. It's a huge boat because she also carries her beam quite far aft. Below deck, she had a layout that made me think a little bit of the PB. A ton of room. Okay, here comes the rating. What do we know?
If it floats, it gets a 10.
It's a 10. Now, but remember that this is a boat that I'm looking at from my viewpoint at my age with a wife who might like to go sailing, possibly on the right boat. I'm going right to a 24. Woo, 24. This is a somebody wrote to one of our comments today was about meeting Halsey Herreshoff in our last segment, said, that's a real gobsmacker. So I guess this is a gobsmacker too, if that's an appropriate word, I don't know. Anyway, that's it, 24, okay. Terrific boat, this one's in great shape, and it won't take much to throw it over the side. Quick hose down and off you go. Bring your Dindy Moore if you like. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when the next one comes out, please hit the alert bell. And that's not desperate at all. We're having too good a time doing these things, so you can hit the bell or not. Randy, how would I ever find out what's coming up next?
You can follow us on Instagram here,
Yeah.
or Facebook. here, we'll have little previews of what's coming up on our next episodes. A little bit early.
That's pretty cool. Previews. You all join me. I'm going to Instagram right now, and I'm going to find out what's coming up next week. Thank you very much.
You know, Instagram's not a place.